Why is it so big?
Good afternoon or good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce uh, Small Business Technical Assistance Workshop in conjunction with the SBA Community Navigator Program, Miami-Dade County, Career Source, and others that support providing those small business owners information and expertise. We look forward to an exciting um, a presentation, very informative today. So we are going live on Facebook. So for those that would like to um, share it to their friends, feel free. You can click the link to join and register. We want you to engage, to ask questions. We are going to get started in a few moments. We want to give some people time to join on in. We're just going to give a little bit of about a minute or two as people start coming on in and joining us. So I want to welcome you. Thank you for joining. If you have not registered for the Community Navigators program, we'll be putting that link in the chat. I'm very excited to introduce to you two of our members who are specialized in business startup and making sure you have your business infrastructure together. So as we get started, feel free to put in anything in the chat, say good morning. Make sure you put in your business name and information in the chat so people know who you are. Every opportunity you're in a room with other business owner, with people, you need to let people know who you are and what you do. So how to get in contact with you. So make sure that as you say good morning, you introducing your business and how to get in contact with you in the chat immediately right now. We got to get some referrals. We need to let people know what we do. Okay, I see you, Gasoline. Awesome, awesome. All right, we got Lavish Touches in the building. All right, so we are going to get started. My name is Matthew Pigan with the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce, and we are doing this program partnership with the SBA and the Miami-Dade Community Navigator Program, which is funded by the SBA, and also Miami. And our program we do with technical assistance funded by the county and also Career Source. The Community Navigator Program is a pilot program that was started and established by the American Rescue Plan Act in 2021. It's comprised of a hub, which is based at FIU Small Business Development Center, SBD Center for short, and spokes that goes out into the community. Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce is one of those spokes, but we are part of a few spokes like Ascendas, Branches, Prospera, um, Startup FIU, and the EDC of South Dade. Some of the things that we focus on is to improve the long-term economic recovery and resilience among small businesses. We have a focus on Miami-Dade County businesses owned by veterans, women, as well as socially economically disadvantaged individuals. So our goal is to really help out our small business owners and make sure they have the tools in order to succeed, achieve, and create jobs. Today, I'm really excited because at the end of the day, you have to start your foundation off very, very strong. And the more you have an understanding of your business plan, your idea, your marketing, learning the basics of business can take you very, very far. And we encounter a lot of business owners that don't have the basics in place, which causes huge stumbling blocks when they need to access capital, if they need to expand, or if they want to go after government or corporate contracts. When you're going after big contracts, they want to know that you got your basics in place. So today we have two of our members. First up will be Raquel Cave. She is the CEO of Inception. Her business focuses on that incorporation process, making sure you have the basis in business consulting. And also Carl Edmond, who is a consultant at Platinum Multi Services. She also specializes in accessing capital, doing business plans, and also government contracting. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Raquel Cade so that she can tell you some tips to starting your business. All right, Raquel.
Good morning, everybody. I'm really excited to be here to share this passion that I have with you, which is helping new business owners being able to start with a solid foundation for them to gain the knowledge and learn new ways and how to research so that way they can be and have a better business. Um, when I was approached by Matthew for this, it touched home for me. When I first started out my business, I wish that I had something like this. I wish I had tips on what it is that I should be paying attention to start my business. And that first business that I did probably wouldn't have failed. So one of the things that I would recommend is for you to know yourself, for you to know your true motivational level and what you're willing to do to be successful. So when you're choosing the right business for you, there's a few things that you should be able to answer. And one of the old sayings that you find a need and fill it, that's true. That's always going to work, because the key to success is finding a need that you can fill, that you want to fill, and that's going to produce enough income that's going to build a profitable business. Everybody's in business to make money. You also want that business to match a passion and fill that need. You want to choose a business that's going to feed your soul, that you're going to love to get up every morning, regardless if you were upset previously or the day before by any clients, by any employees, if it didn't work right with your vendors, but you're still going to get up, you're going to be passionate about it, you love what it is that you do, and you're willing to learn new things. As a business owner, we all want to be millionaires. So I'm going to, along this process with me, I'm going to give you guys questions for you to ask yourself, for you to go and research. That way you can start building that solid foundation. And it's going to help you be better prepared going forward. So as far as knowing yourself, you're going to ask yourself, what are you willing to give up to reach that goal? How many hours a week are you willing to work on an ongoing basis? How far out of your comfort zone are you willing to stretch? And how far will your family stretch with you? These answers is going to help you decide which is best for you, either being self-employed or being a small business owner. Both of those, being a self-employed individual and being a small business owner, is a small business. But there's a big difference between the two. And being able to keep that healthy balance between your business plans, your personal life, your family goals, and the resources, those are tools that's going to help you be successful. The other thing is knowing your strengths, which are your talents, your skills, your passions, and your character traits, and also your motivational level. There's a self-assessment that I encourage all of my clients to do. And that's going to help point out these traits, which is going to help you form a clear picture that's going to develop into a strong foundation. And you can start your self-assessment by making a simple list of every business skill that you think you have. And then you add skills that you think make a good leader or a good business owner. And you can also add other questions that you feel is important. Maybe it's going to be specific to the type of service that you're going to offer. Now, ask a minimum of 10 people to rate you through, an anonymous survey. You want it to be anonymous because you want to get their honest, true feedback. You want them to feel comfortable to be clear with you, and you don't want to have any negative reservations towards that person. These surveys, you can find them online. There's a lot of different companies, Google is the Google of everything. So what you do is, what I would suggest you not do is don't open the survey until you've collected at least 10 of them. And then I only want you to ask people that you know and you have worked with directly. But a tip, before you open them, take a deep breath, and you have to be open-minded on why you're doing this. You want to be super honest with yourself. And the other reason is you want to be able to find teammates that can fill in where you're not strong at, because you can't wear all the hats. I've personally had a few responses when I did this that, you know, made me pause and I wanted to hide, but I'm better for having received that honest feedback. The other thing is you want to do research. Okay, so now that we've figured out what our strengths and our weaknesses are, and we've gotten into more what type of business it is that would work best for us, we're going to start researching. One of the biggest mistakes new business owners make is assuming that because you like the idea, or you know a few people who want the products you want to sell or the service you want to provide, that there's an abundance of people who would like the same thing. So to minimize your risk, I would say never assume that there's a market for what it is that you want to do. You must research the idea that you want to do. There's ways to do it. A way to do it is a Google search for the type of business, and you could do it in your area if you're going to be local. And that Google search will give you a whole list of other businesses that are doing it. Talk to real potential prospects who aren't your friend and your family, because you're going to narrow the circle when you only speak to your friends and families. Read about the market. There's market reports for abundance of industries, and you could just literally Google market report for plumbing, a market report for being a pharmacist, being a hairstylist, a market report to be a consultant. There's market reports for these, and it's going to give you a lot of insight. There's also trade journals. There's reports in trade journals. So these are things that you can research. No matter what type of business you're starting, always keep in mind that you're going to have competition, and competition is great. Even if there's no other business that's going to sell what you plan to sell or offer products that you plan to offer, you always have to remember that your customer base is able to satisfy that need by somebody else. So for you to be successful, research the competition and find out as much as possible about what it is that you want to sell and how you want to sell it. So what you walk away with that is you're going to always assess your market before you open your door. Understand the industry that you wish to go into and find out who your competition is now and who your future competition will be. The other thing is to spend time considering who your target demographic is, who your audience is going to be. That is going to be the driving force for every decision that you make. Understanding who needs your product or service is going to help you to fine-tune what you're offering. It's going to help you make sure that the marketing and the sales strategies that you're going to use is going to reach the right people, because it's going to be specific to your audience. You're not going to market and have these sales strategies for everybody, because everybody's not coming to you. You only want to reach the people who are going to come and do business with you. Part of that is also understanding what category you're going to be in. Are you going to be in a business format of where you're doing business to consumer, which is like a retail store, or where anybody off the street can come and, you know, buy from you, order your services or your products? Or are you going to be doing business with other businesses, which is a business-to-business type of enterprise? So the majority of your clients are businesses that are already established. So in understanding who your target market is, there's a lot of, you know, categories that fall into this. There's also the age, the gender, the income, the profession. So this takes some digging for you to really understand who is going to come and buy or want to use what it is that I'm offering. So you can't earn a profit without customers. So understanding who your customers and your clients are, and you're going to make them a priority. So know who you're talking to, have a defined target market, and that's going to help you better reach and acquire new and repeat customers. So we've know our strength and our weaknesses. We've decided and come to an understanding of what business that we're passionate about, what business that we want to do. We've done our research and we know who our competition is, and we better understand our clients and our audience. Now we're going to get to what usually everybody does first, which is naming your business. You know, the majority of business owners spend a lot of time on coming up with that perfect name for their business. And they do that because that name is very important. When you choose a name, that is the first introduction to your brand. And choosing a compelling brand is going to take you a long way. You know, there's no doubt about it. You're going to spend hours brainstorming names to represent either the product or the service that you're offering. You're going to want a name that's both marketable, that's infused with personality, and you're going to start looking for ways to, you know, what name is out there, what's catchy. So you're going to go through this creative process and you're going to surf the web. You're going to look up dictionaries, you know, synonym, antonyms. You're going to read trade magazines. You're going to bounce the idea off of friends and family. You're going to do all of this. But as you hunt, as you look and you keep writing down, and you're going to have this list of names and names of your first choice, second choice. You're going to play with the spelling of it. You got to keep three things in mind. And these are three main questions that I feel are important. Will your business name receive any type of trademark protection? Is your business name or your proposed business name even available? You can't use somebody else's business name. And if the name is available, the other thing you have to think about is your business going to have a website? And if it is going to have a website, is the domain name, which is the address that you would go on, available that matches the business name? So those are important. There's no perfect formula for picking a great business name, but the best name depends on so many different variables. And some of the obvious is the kind of business you're going to do, and others as unique as what's your taste and what's your style. But there's a few guidelines that's going to point you in that direction. And remember, a good business name is going to be distinctive, it's going to be memorable, and it's going to distinguish you from other competitors. So I talked about whether or not your business name or the type of business that you're going into is going to be trademark. Are you going to need a trademark for this? I know we hear trademark, you know, protect, trademark, but some of us are not even sure what that means. Trademarking law, what that does is stops another business from using your name or your logo that is likely to confuse others with who you are. And why do you trademark? Why do you want a trademark protection? You want that protection so that it's going to stop another business from using your name or logo. The other reason why you want to protect your trademark, protect your name, you want to trademark your name, is for branding and marketing. All businesses that have exclusive use of their names helps our clients, our customers, our consumers identify and recognize us, the goods and services that we're providing in the marketplace. So when I say that, when you think of McDonald's, Nike, Chase Bank, Goldman Sachs, Ford, the New York Times, these are just a few examples. But when I say these names, you have already developed a picture of who this company is. And we know that these names, there is not another company that elicits that type of response and recognition and comfortability like them. So by allowing just one company to use the name like Nike, what the trademark law does, it helps that company to build customer trust, goodwill. That's what it's about. That when we want some Nike sneakers, Nike gear, buy something from Nike, we know what quality we're getting from this company. We know what type of customer service this company is going to give us. We know what their policies and procedures when it comes to purchasing and returning. We are confident in when I get something from Nike, what it is that I'm going to get. Plus, the other thing is if you're starting a corporation or an LLC or a limited partnership, there's also a few state rules that you have to keep in mind when you name your business. And when I say that, I mean, structuring your business. So when you structure your business, that's something that you take time to understand. It's not, oh, I want a new business and I just wanted to be an LLC, but you're not even sure what that LLC means. What is that going to give me? What responsibility do I have if I form an LLC? Is that going to fit in where I'm trying to go? What provision is it going to give me? So before you decide on how you want to structure your business, you want to know what options you have. There's a few popular ones, but I want you to make sure that you understand what that structure implies and what requirements is needed for your business. So this is not something for you to just glass over. There's a lot of other categories that falls under structuring your business. But we'll go more into that. So when I mean by structuring your business, there's sole proprietorship, and a sole proprietorship is just one business that's not registered with the state. You don't need anything special to file or any papers to start. You and the business are one. There's a partnership where you and two or more other people will decide to go into business together. You don't necessarily need to form a partnership. I would suggest that you do, and at least have an operating agreement. There's limited liability corporation, and that main benefit is that it's structured that it limits your personal liability from any business debts and any court judgments. Then there's also a for-profit corporation. And there's nonprofit corporations. So there's a lot of options that you have, and taking this time to research and understand on what those implications and protections and provisions it's going to give you, and if that's what's needed for your business is key. So when you do that research, and all of the questions that you've gone through before, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, doing your market research, knowing who your target audience is, and now naming your business, structuring your business, coming to the decision there, are you going to trademark your name or your logo? All of that is going to help you when it comes to planning how your business is going to move forward and expand and grow and be successful, and helping you plan on building a team to help you get there. So if you're not seeking like investors, or you're not putting a huge amount of money in to start your business, You may not need an actual elaborate big business plan, but you still need a plan. You definitely need a plan. One that's going to specify your goal and your destination. And then it lays out what you want, and it's going to give you that roadmap to get you to where it is that you want to go. But you got to keep in mind that the plan is going to constantly change as you progress, and you're going to learn more about who your customers are, who your competition is, but that plan is going to help you stay focused. That's that blueprint, that's that roadmap. It's going to help you say, okay, this is where I need to go. This is where I'm going. So with that plan, there's questions that you should ask about, how you're going to run your business. How are your services and products going to be delivered? So you start asking yourself those questions. The other thing is your digital presence. If you're running a local business, you still need a digital presence. And that's something that's really, really big and important. Social media is rampant. Google, everybody goes to Google. That's the majority of people's consultants is, let me go talk to Google. Let me go ask Google. So that digital presence is very important. I want to touch on, opening a business bank account and why that's important. Opening a business bank account is what you're going to use to keep your personal and your business finances and transactions separate. And that is key. One, by opening that business bank account where it's going to help you start building a credit profile for your business. You're going to present yourself to your clients and other business in a professional manner. It actually saves time and money when it comes to taxes. So those are important. It also stops you from commingling. And commingling is when you use that one account for personal and business needs. And that is something that you don't want to do. You waste money commingling. When it comes to tax time, having an accountant or a bookkeeper to separate and research and go digging to see which actions or transactions go in what category, whether it's personal or business. So you definitely don't want to commingle. For you to open that business account, you just need your business name, an address, the business registration, your tax ID number, or your EIN number, along with your social. And sometimes some banks are going to ask you for a business license or operating agreement. The other thing is that bookkeeper. Bookkeepers are important in the beginning. In the beginning, you might try to say, okay, I need to save some money. I can handle the books myself, or I might not need it right now because I haven't started my business. But the startup, you still need to have your categories and your line items for all the money that you're spending, even during the startup phase. And what I mean by that is all your permits and your license, your corporation fees, your logo fees, your website design, any signage, any down payments, all of those things are what you're going to need to keep in lineup. So I hope that you guys were able to get some valuable information, write down some of those questions that you can go back to and start answering for yourself. If anybody has any questions that they would like to ask, you can ask. I know that, can you open, I'm gonna answer just a few questions if that's okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we are going to bring in our next speaker. I want everyone to put their information in the Q&A box. And then at the end, we are going to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to get their questions answered. So thank you, Raquel, for really going into those details about what you need to start that business. I love the fact you talked about, you got to be clear about how many hours you are willing to put in. That is very important in making sure you have the time to do what you have to do to actually run a business. It is extremely time consuming. So you have to know that. You got to be clear about your market and what you're selling. So thank you for hitting on that one. You're not selling to everyone. You're selling to the people that's going to buy. And you need to be clear about how you research so that you can identify your ideal clients, and focusing on them. And the last thing that is so important that I hear, that's my biggest challenge with business owners, is the commingling of funds. Um, if you want to access capital, if you want to scale and grow your business, if you want to make sure you're making money, you have to have that separate business account and got to be clear about separating those expenses. So thank you very much, Raquel, for going over that. Those are the tips and basics that literally can lay a strong foundation as you move forward. So now I'm going to bring up Carol, if you could cut on your video and unmute your mic. I know there may be some technical difficulties, but I hope we got all those taken care of. And really start to tell business owners how they take a lot of things that Carol said, like making actual steps to building that infrastructure for your business, and the difference between those corporations. We already have a question in the chat talking about, can you open an LLC through a C Corp and things of that nature. So we're looking forward to hearing from you, Carol.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. My name is Carol Edmond, the owner and consultant at Platinum Multi-Service. So I'm currently going to try to share my screen with you guys. All right, are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, we are.
Okay, perfect. So to piggyback off of Ms. Raquel, the key importance of starting a business is actually having a business idea. So in order to have a business, like I said, you must have a business idea. To me, sometimes a business idea can be a hobby. It can definitely be something that you enjoy doing, a skill that you have. Because majority of the time, I feel like if you start a business just based off popularity or something that's going on right now, eventually that business becomes a job, and you may not entirely, want to do that forever, per se, if that's your goal with the business. Certain times your side hustles can also become a main business purpose, which is a great thing. So as mentioned, I always say that when you're choosing a business idea, choose something that you're passionate about, so it doesn't, become a job for you. Because once you're passionate about something, it's always going to be something that you enjoy doing, and you're always going to put a lot of energy into that or that specific business. And the second thing, when it comes to starting your business, it would definitely be having a business plan. Just as this quote says, when writing a business plan, it gets you an idea out of the entrepreneur's head and helps create a roadmap for what they want to do, for what they want to go in with the business. As an example, just as most builders do not just build a building without any blueprints, which comes back to a business plan. Because when you're starting a business and you just say, oh, well, I have an idea to be a chef, and you don't know where to start, you don't know where your capital is going to go, how you're going to gain capital, or who's going to be funding your business. Those are key important things when starting a business. So I just actually left a few key points at the bottom to be able to assist you guys when creating a business plan. The key components would not necessarily be who is your target audience, because you definitely can't sell to everyone, and not everyone wants to purchase what you're selling. So you definitely want to focus on who is going to be your target audience, who is your focus, what are they interested in, and how are you going to market to them. When it comes to your business plan as well, you also want to add in a business description. For instance, if you are going to sell candles, some candle companies focus on actual, let's say, sculptures, or just maybe regular candles, for instance. As Raquel mentioned, the business name is very, very, very important. You don't want to start a candle company, for instance, and the candle company name is Starbucks. Most people won't necessarily understand or know that your business is selling candles based off of the name Starbucks. Marketing as well. Marketing is very important when it comes to your business plan, because you have to know, because marketing is also one of the most expensive things that goes into business. Because without marketing, how are people going to know what you're selling, and how are they going to reach you? So marketing can necessarily even be a form as social media, uh, websites, or just actually business cards and different things like that. And depending on your style or your business, marketing would be a key component for your actual business to, to actually grow. Another important thing that you should add into your business plan should definitely be the competition and the marketplace. What are your competitors selling? And, what is the difference between what you're selling and what they're selling? And how can you add, or yeah, basically, how can you add, more value than what your competition may have? Or even if it's pretty much the same value, you still have to know, okay, are people actually still buying what I'm selling? Is this a good market to go into? Because in business, if you're not making any money, it's not very motivating to continue into that business route. So you definitely want to research to make sure that the business that you're going into is going to be able to give you that money back. And funding. Funding is very important when it comes to your business, because you have to, basically recognize, where is this funding going to be coming from? Are you going to do a fundraiser where people can donate? Are you going to ask family and friends for donations? Are you going to use your own money as capital? Are you going to get a job? Nothing is wrong with having a job. A lot of people think that just because you have a job, you can't have a business, but 9 times out of 10, sometimes that job can fund your business. So definitely when it comes to funding, that's very important to add into your business plan, to know where is this money coming from, to be able to handle your business and the bills that comes with the business. And pricing is very important in your business plan, because that is going to let you know what your profit is actually going to be from the actual product or service that you're going to be selling to your audience, your target audience. So those are pretty much the key components to a business plan. You don't necessarily need to always have like a fancy business plan where it has so many things that it's going to get you confused. But to me, these are the main factors that would actually help you and your business when it comes to creating a business plan. Now, the important thing, once you have already chosen your business idea, your business plan, it comes down to actually picking which type of business entity you want it to go into. So now there are three main entities, which is sole proprietorship, corporation, or limited liability company, LLC. LLCs are my favorite, but there are different options for everyone depending on your business type. So now I've basically created the differences or the disadvantages and advantages of each. For instance, with a sole proprietorship, typically with sole proprietorship, I would say it's more for someone with a side hustle, someone who definitely is not gonna, have that business as their main source. So with sole proprietorship, it's less paperwork because you don't have to file anything. It's very easy to set up. As mentioned, you are working under your own presence, so everything you do is pretty much just going to be under your name and your social security number. You're operating as yourself, which is a business as well. Because sometimes in sole proprietorships, you can also use a fictitious name or a DBA, aka doing business as, rather than using your real name. So for instance, if I didn't want to do an LLC for my business, I can say, well, my name is Carol Edmond, but I'm operating as a Platinum Multi-Service, which is my business name. So with this type of business type, like I said, it's more so for people with side hustles. Like let's say you're offering your services during the weekends for someone, or you're providing a product that you only sell sometimes. This is a great thing for you, and you don't even need to set up an LLC or a corporation. It all depends on your business types. Now, the disadvantages of this is you pretty much are responsible for anything that happens with your business. Everything will fall on you. And it will be very difficult raising capital. Because like I said, you're not going to be viewed as a business. You are most likely going to be viewed as someone who is doing this as a side hustle. And most people don't want to provide capital to someone who is doing a business as a side hustle because it's more risky, stating that you won't be able to either give the money back. Let's say if you pretty much applied for a loan, you would have to necessarily go through a personal loan when it comes to the disadvantages of a sole proprietorship. And then just a summary again, a sole proprietorship is an individual that decides to go into business. And as mentioned, you can operate under your legal name or register as a fictitious name, or DBA, which is doing business as. And now we go to general partnerships, which is basically the same as a sole proprietorship, but it's saying that you're going into this partnership with someone else, but you guys are still going in as individuals. As mentioned, it's very easy to set up because you guys are just doing it as individuals. And also another disadvantage of working as well, registering as a sole proprietorship or a general partnership is the taxing, which is not the best because you are going to be summoned to self-employment taxes, which are pretty normally high. So as mentioned, with the general partnership, a general partnership is just created by default between two or more people, just as a sole proprietorship. As mentioned, you don't have to register your business. There aren't any additional fees when it comes to that. It's pretty much just two people with a side hustle. And the disadvantages with this one as well is it's the taxation, the actual the way it's set up, you won't be able to get any funding. Well, you probably can, but it's going to be more difficult to get funding because like I said, you're not operating as a business, you are operating as yourself, which is a little bit more risky when it comes to having a business. So now corporations. Corporations it's a great structure as well, just as LLCs. But with a corporation is a business structure that is a separate entity from the individual. While corporations are more expensive and difficult to form than sole proprietorships or partnerships, the major advantages is that the corporation provides personal asset protection for the owners should the corporations be sued. So now, as mentioned, with the corporations, the advantages definitely are, God forbid you do get sued, it will not necessarily fall on you, and it won't hurt any of your current assets that are on you as an individual. It will just necessarily go toward the business itself. As a corporation as well, you're pretty much welcoming investors to invest into your business, which is great if you are looking for investors. Investors mostly try to invest into corporations rather than LLCs because LLCs are mostly seen as a small business rather than an actual big business that's going to have multiple companies, such. So as a corporation can raise non-debt financing by sharing shares of the business, which is great because you can also build business credit with that. And that helps you in the long run because you won't have to use your personal credit rather than, just using the business as the one to get the funding for you. And with corporate, the best thing about it is the taxing is a lot lower, but there are a lot more complications when it comes to taxing when it comes to corporations, because you also have to, have partnerships, have different managers and shareholders in your corporation in order for it to actually be legal and have an actual corporation. So, and now we're to the LLC, which is my favorite, as mentioned. An LLC is a popular business entity choice because it provides the liability protection of a corporation with the sole proprietorship, ease of operation. The limited liability company does not have that many burdens like the corporation and has the greatest tax flexibility for the four entities, which is true. As mentioned, that's probably why it's my favorite to register my business as. An LLC offers a deeper layer of protection for personal liability. As mentioned, if your business is sued, you won't necessarily be liable for it as long as you didn't commingle any funds with your personal and your business. As mentioned with Raquel, it's very, very important to separate your personal and your business in the event that something does happen and you are getting sued. That doesn't hold against you. An LLC can also be formed by a single person. Unlike a corporation, typically corporations have multiple shareholders and they're typically more than one person. With the LLC, you have complete control of your business since it is a single member LLC. And with taxing as well, it is a lot lower. It's pretty much not necessarily like self-employment or sole proprietorship, but the taxation is a little bit lower because you can pay yourself as an employee or as an independent contractor, however. And the advantages as well of an LLC is you can also build business credit, which is having credit that's not attached to you, but more so attached to your business. Which is really great when it comes to getting funding. Necessarily, you may need to use your personal credit for something, and your business credit can come in handy when it comes to your business. Now, there are not that many disadvantages, honestly, when it comes to LLC. The disadvantage, I guess, would necessarily be the fees that are associated with LLCs. Typically, LLCs are a little bit more expensive as far as state fees. But other than that, there are not really that many disadvantages. Also, investors, as mentioned, when it comes to investors typically would like to invest into a corporation rather than an LLC because corporation offers shareholder opportunities, and which is very important as an investor because you would want to have a shareholder part in the corporation.
Thank you very much, Carol. I know we got a quick note about operating agreements. I know we can try and answer that in the Q&A, but at the moment, I do want to start our Q&A right now. So we have quite a few in the chat. So I'm going to bring Raquel back up and all of us, and then we will touch on this operating agreement because that is very important when you have partners. And I would love to see if there's by a show of hands or a chat, if anyone has a partnership or additional owners, and we'll make sure to get into the operating agreement. But a few things that Carol said is very important. It is that breakdown of basically what structure you are going to use when you do your business. Sole proprietorship, LLC, corporation, each have its pros and its cons, and you got to be smart about what works for you. And the most important thing is to really talk to a tax person because they will give you the most important guidance on how it's going to have your tax liability and also how you structure your finances moving forward. So I do see a few questions in the Q&A. The first one I will see for you, Carol, is can you open up an LLC through a C corporation?
So I'm not a tax professional, but you can. So a C is automatically when you sign up for your business EIN, you're automatically going to be a C Corp. Now, later on down the line, if you do have employees, you can always reach out to IRS and change it to an S Corp.
Awesome. All right. All right. And another question we have on here, how do you properly target government contracting that are group, which are essential workers by being specific? Hold on. I'm a little confused by this, but hold on. All right. So I am going to, yeah, we're going to have to bring Gasoline on and get a clear question about that. But here's one. How can a corporation owner hold a meeting with self? Is that even possible? Carol.
How can a shareholder own say it again? I'm sorry.
It says, how can a corporation owner hold a meeting with themselves? Is that even possible?
It definitely is possible. I guess that's also where the operating agreement comes in hand, because the operating agreement would necessarily state your roles in the actual corporation itself. So it is very possible, but that's why you would need an operating agreement to make it possible.
Got it. Got it. All right. And we have quite a few questions about the business entity. So, what happens if you want to change your business entity? How do you go through that process, and what are the consequences?
Um, there are no consequences. Well, when it comes to the EIN, if you're a C corp versus a S corp, you're going to be taxed differently. Obviously, with the S corp, like I said, it's more so for people who have employees. So you are going to be most likely taxed really high when you have employees. As far as changing, let's say, an LLC to a corporation or a corporation to an LLC, um, since we're in Florida, you simply go on Sunbiz and you do the requests, and you just simply change it, and then you'll pay the fees for the either the LLC, which you're changing it to, or the corporation, which you're going to be changing it from.
Got it.
Corporations are typically cheaper than LLCs.
Awesome. Raquel, do you want to jump in on that? Do you have any thoughts on that?
I agree with Carol. It's the process is simple, but you also want to understand what implication that means for your business of you being an LLC, the provisions and the guidelines behind it compared to you being a corporation. There are two different type of entities when we're looking at tax purposes. And that's where it really is important for you to understand when it comes to taxes, because that's where the implication is going to be the greatest, is what the requirements are for your business as an LLC versus a corporation.
Awesome. All right. So I do see a hand up, Matthew Howard. Um, I just gave you the ability to unmute your mic. Do you want to ask a question, Mr. Matthew Howard? Right. All right. So I'm going to bring in Gasoline. Do you have a question? You can unmute your mic and explain a question about government contracting.
Yes, because good morning, everyone. Raquel mentioned about.
Please introduce your business. Always.
Yes, sorry about that, you guys. My name is Gasoline the Sources. I am a hairstylist and the founder of Lavish Touches. I am also a custom wig maker at Threaded by Lavish. But my question is because my sister and I are interested in government contracting, but how do we properly target the contractors? Because like I try to explain to her, there's men and women. And since I've been in business making 7 years last week, I want to know how to properly target that particular one, because I didn't know. I thought target marketing was like a group, but then I realized, no, you have to target one person. So with the government contracting, it's men and women. So like, which one do I actually choose for like hairstyling or massaging? Or can I do both men and women?
I think I can jump in on that question. When it comes to government contracting, usually the majority of the time it is based upon the bids that a government put out. The government knows what it needs. Very few times will a government be able to do something outside of what's in their budget, what's in their policies, and what they have through RFPs. There may be instances when they do certain events, and you may be able to sign up as a vendor to do a service and on that. But those are far and few in between. And if you're doing government contracting, most likely you're going to be going through the RFP and bidding process. So the first step, if that's something you really want to do, you have to be very fiscally sound and also have a back office that can handle the paperwork that comes with government contracting. So we can go through that during our one-on-one technical assistance to see if you're prepared, and then start to explore any type of hair styling that governments may procure. They do purchase a lot, so we can see what that falls into. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right. All right. So any other questions? All right, I have another question. Why should someone be an S Corp only when they have employees? One has the answer for that.
Why should a corporation be an S corp only
Yes,
when they
they have
have?
employees.
Well, the biggest thing about S corporation, and just to be clear, S corporation is a tax designation. It is not a business entity registration. It's just a tax designation. And that tax designation for S corp is a small business corporation. Being a small business corporation allows you to take a lot of tax credits that the IRS will give you running your entity. So that is the biggest thing, is taking advantage of all the tax credits. You know, even though you're running an LLC, and your profit margin may not be that great or that high, you're able to get the tax credits for having employees and running your business.
So this series that we're doing, these workshops, it's called the ABCs of Business. And our next workshop will be bookkeeping, accounting, and taxes. So that is a question that I'm very sure we're going to have two CPAs focus on that. Matter of fact, we'll go ahead and share this flyer. This is a pre-release. Y'all are the first ones to see it. But we're going to have Stephen Henriquez and Herb Bunny come in. Stephen Henriquez, a long-time accountant, decades time, both of them decades as accounting for small businesses, as CPA. So we will be going over what you need in order to make sure that your books are together and answer those type of questions. So what we do at the Miami-Dade Chamber is a part of our technical assistance program where we help businesses one-on-one get their business together. So if you need to get your back office together, your planning, your certifications, there is help. We are part of the SBA Community Navigators Program, the county, Miami-Dade County, and Career Source. And we do these workshops so that we can continue to educate you about the opportunities and the information you need for your business. So in the past, we had quite a few workshops on fundraising, cybersecurity, PPPs, government contracting, but we found that we really need to get back to the basics so that people know once you have strong foundation in basics, you can go pretty far. So these workshops give you opportunity to hear that expert understanding. And we also have, oh, can everyone see my screen?
No,
no,
didn't want to interrupt you. I didn't want to interrupt you.
So you don't see, what do you see now? Nothing?
We see that you're sharing, but we can't see what you're sharing.
Uh-oh, what in the world is going on? All right. So you see, y'all just had me talking and nobody saying anything. Oh, thank you. I want to put it in the chat. Let me see what we can do here. It looks like we've been having some difficulties. Uh-oh. And it looks like Zoom is closed.
Did you freeze? Hello, everybody. It may seem that he is frozen if you can hear me. Matthew, if you're speaking, we can't hear you or see you at the moment.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
All right, so I had a quick little technical difficulty. I guess. All right, that never happened before. So
there we go. We can see it now.
You can see the screen now. All right,
we can see it.
Yeah, as I said, this is a part of a series. Next week will be bookkeeping, accounting. March 31st, our next session will be bookkeeping, accounting, and taxes. And we do this, said, through our technical assistance program. So you can go to www.m-dcc.org and go to our services to click technical assistance. This is part of a series that we've been doing for a few years now. And as I said, we had quite a few topics on fundraising, cybersecurity, PPP, but we really wanted to get back to the basics. So that's what we're focused on. This year is the basics of business development, so you have a strong foundation in building your infrastructure. I would also invite everyone, I'm going to wrap up and give some last words before I give our presenters opportunity to close out. Every Tuesday at 4 o'clock, we have a completely open, you do not have to be a member of the chamber, small business meetup. It's an excellent opportunity to network with other business owners, get referrals, get new business, practice presenting yourself and networking with people. And it's all on Zoom. We have speakers that come in from the director of Miami-Dade Airport. We've had the mayor of the county. We've had people come in and talk about web to app mobilization. And we also talk about topics such as how do you deal with a disgruntled employee? What are you going to do with this inflation and gas prices now, and how does that affect your 2022 business plan? So I strongly encourage you to register. You can check this out under our events page to find out more. And as I said, this is all with the Miami-Dade, Miami-Dade Business Navigator program. So that's what we're under, and we have a consortium of support services that provide assistance to small business owners like yourself. So reach out to us because we're here to help you. We want to see you grow and shine so that you can create jobs, become prosperous, and we get to brag about you. That's what we want to do, all right? So with that, I do want to give Carol opportunity. Have any closing remarks you want to give to our people, and let them know what you do and what you specialize in, because it's very important people understand these are business owners like yourself, and you want to make sure. So Carol, what are you, any closing remarks? You have to unmute yourself.
Okay, I did. Sorry, I'm not tech savvy, surprisingly. But yes, so I just also wanted to leave a business checklist with everyone to make sure that your business actually has these items. If it doesn't, please give me a call. We will definitely assist you with these items. So it should definitely be making sure your business is registered properly, LLC, DBA, or corporation, your business tax ID, getting your EIN, your DUNS number for your business, and knowing your NICS code. Back to, sorry if I butcher your name, Gasoline, I think you spoke about the government contracting. Knowing your NICS code is very, very helpful and would help you, realize which path to go into when it comes to government contracting. I know you do hair, but there are, you're a hairstylist, but there are different things when it comes to a NICS code. Like, for instance, if you're a hairstylist, there are some accessories that the governments do actually purchase, like could be razors or shaving utensils, different things like that. Another checklist would be having your local business tax receipt, either in the county or the city in which you are located, and the certificate of use. Even if you are a home-based business, you are supposed to have a local business tax receipt and your certificate of use. And these are all services that I provide as well at Platinum Multi-Service. I do assist with government contracting, certifying your business as a women-owned or minority and veteran-owned business. And we also do assist with bid proposals as well.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you for joining us today. Raquel?
My pleasure.
Hi, this has been awesome. I love the questions that's been asked. I love to see the audience here. I would definitely like to say, to leave off with is understand that you're going to run a business. You're running a business, whether you are going to be self-employed or be a small business owner. And the biggest difference between the two of that, self-employed means you are working by yourself. You don't have anyone else. Having a small business and being a small business owner, that distinction means you have other people doing the work for you. That is the only difference between the two. Other than that, you are still in business. the name of my company is Inception. Inception with an Inception, inception.co is the website. One of the things that we specialize is making sure that your business is solid, that you've built that solid foundation. What Matthew has been saying about the basics, making sure that the basics of your business is there, because that's going to be key to catapult you to being as big and as great as you want to be. So from the beginning of your business developments and, you know, any of your office solutions to the bookkeeping, payroll services, even with small business certifications, you know, Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce is grouped with the SBA, and through the SBA, there's, you know, certifications that you can get, you know, such as DBE certifications. And back to gasoline, for you to contract with the government, you need to have certain certifications as well. And it'll be in your advantage because women-owned business, that's a certification that you would need and you can take advantage of. And that's for everybody. Minority-owned, those are other certifications. Making sure that you take the time to do the research, to answer the questions, to plug in, to build that team, because you can't wear all the hats. It's impossible. If you're building a business, you cannot wear all the hats. So you want to know what your strong points are so you can concentrate on that, recognize your weaknesses, and find the best people to fill that spot and build your business to where you want to go. So I want to leave off with that. It is teamwork. Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce is one of those team members that everybody on this platform can use and take advantage of. Myself, I'm open to, I know, I'm not sure who had asked. Yes, Gasoline did. Yes, I'm open to one-on-one. I also have a platform which is called Inception Labs, and that's collaborative. So, you know, reach out to me if you guys have any questions. I'm available, I'm open. And thank you, Matthew. Thank you for the invitation.
Awesome. I want to thank you, Raquel and Carol, for joining us, and all those that took the time out of day to attend. Make sure you spread the word. This information is on our Facebook page. Recording will be on our website. I just put the link in the chat so that you can join our small business meetup. So we look forward to seeing you, continuing this relationship and assisting you with your business growth and development. Again, you are the foundation of our economy. Your ideas and your passion makes the world go round. We need you to shine. We need you to live. We need you to make sure you're paying your bills and feeding your family through your business and what you enjoy doing. So we're here to help you. Reach out to us. We appreciate you. All right. You take care. And we look forward to seeing you again at Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. Take care, everyone.
You too.